Hi folks, it's Mike here from Meteor Golf. In my hand I don't have one driver, I've got 3 drivers and they're all from Ping. It's the new G440. For the last 2 years you've had the G430 and you had the new, which was an amazing addition to Ping, which was the G430 10K. They've come out with the new version. They do it every 2 years, which I like. They're not bringing out a driver every 1 year. They're bringing out a driver every 2 years. And sometimes with Ping, they've even left it a little bit longer, which I actually like myself. They've come out with the new G440. They've got 3 drivers. You've got the Max, which is the general driver, which fits most people. Then they have the SFT, which is the straight flight technology, which is a driver with more draw bias, so it's an anti-slice driver for probably higher handicap golfers who slice the ball, who have too much fade or extra fade or too much fade. And then they have, for better golfers, it's a slightly smaller head, it's the LST, which is the low spin technology. We're gonna focus mainly on the Max for 2 reasons. One, I have straight flight technology, would mean I would hook this thing straight out of the building altogether, and I don't have that much spin, so I don't need the LST, but we're gonna concentrate on the most popular one, which will be the Ping G40 Max. So what's really interesting about this for me is the first thing I kind of knew about Ping was the G5, and the G5 had blue. And they've come back with blue because last year it was kind of a yellow with the G430, which was really cool. But this brings kind of, from a historical point of view, it brings me back to the G5, and I think it was the G2, the G5, but it was definitely a G5, which was blue. Ping have been a bit cheeky as well. So I've been delving into this, and what they've really worked on, they have taken some weight out of the hosel, and they've been able to transfer more weight from the hosel lower in. So if you look at the actual adapter, they've moved the weight from this part of it, and they've actually moved some weight to the bottom of it, which means that it's a bit more stable. I know it's only 4 grams, but 4 grams can make a bit of a difference in a golf club. So they're trying to keep things going. They've made it a lot more stable, so they say, but the cheeky thing which they've done is they've made the shaft a bit longer, which increases the speed, okay, of people. And normally what I've said, and when I've listened to a lot of people who review clubs, they said for more high handicap golfers, it's better to have a shorter shaft because you have a better chance of being more consistent. But seemingly Ping are so happy with the forgiveness of this. They've made it so forgiving that they've taken a chance, and in general they've made the shaft a bit longer, which can increase speed, and speed increases distance. As well, what I've noticed always for the last few years with the G425, the G430, the ALTA CB shaft was normally a 55 gram shaft. So what they've done is they've made the shaft a bit lighter as well, so that this is the standard ALTA CB shaft now. Instead of being 55 gram reg or 55 gram soft regular or 55 gram stiff, is now 50 gram stiff. So these little things, they're trying to get it fast, they're trying to get it lighter, and I like it. I do. I think it's good that you try different stuff, because if you're moving it, like when I look at this club compared to the 430, like there's not a huge difference. Do you know what I mean? It's not that it looks completely different. It looks quite similar. So for somebody walking in who hasn't used Ping before, this is amazing. For somebody who bought the G425 or the G430, from the G430 especially, it's not a huge walk away, but I like the fact that they're trying to do something different with it. So also what I found really interesting, and it's not for me because I don't need straight flight technology, because all it would mean is a massive hook. But what I find extremely interesting is you cannot basically tell the difference between the Max and the SFT, because normally if a driver is draw biased. When you put it down in front of you, you can immediately see that the club is closed. With this, and what I think is fabulous about it, all the draw bias is in the club. So the weight has been moved within the club. And I think that's really interesting. And I think visually for people, that makes it better, because if you look down and you see the club is really offset, or if it's really closed, I think to get better, it makes it more difficult. Whereas this, when you put it down, it looks like a normal driver. It's just that the driver is gonna, even though you set it up straight, it goes straight, and it's gonna work better for people, I think, on more of a, nearly on a subconscious level, because they don't look as if they're having to do anything different. With the LST, what I like about it, it just looks a little bit deeper. So the face a little bit deeper, it's a little bit tighter, it's a little bit smaller. And I think for better golfers, that's gonna work out really well as well. The Max looks fabulous. It just sits straight behind the ball. My word for today is they've had these for a while, these turbulators, hopefully which make the club cut through the air better. It's a thing that Ping have, and it looks really cool. I'm gonna test this with the 50-gram stiff shaft, because that's kind of the closest to what I use myself. They're doing a couple of different shafts. They have their own tour shaft, and they have they have a new Denali shaft as well. But I just want to test it with this because it looks pretty cool. Okay? That's funny. That's really funny. I actually picked up the one that I thought was the Max, and it was the SFT. So it really does its job. Brilliant. What we've also done, and this is kind of, we're gonna do this, what we've also done as well, and we're trying to tweak what we do, myself and Tone behind the camera, who I have to say has got an invite to Cannes for a small movie that he's done. It's unbelievable. He's going to Cannes. Next year, in 3 years, they're gonna say, Oscar-winning director, Tone Brunel, who used to do YouTube videos with an Irish idiot. So what we're also doing is we've changed the parameters on the TrackMan to yards, because most people who watch this are not from kind of here in Holland. So we're going to change that. And also what I'm using is I'm using the balls that I normally play with as well. So they're the ones that I like. It's the Chrome Soft X at the moment. So the Chrome Tour X, it'll be in a couple of months or whatever. So we're going to start. Wow. Pings for me always felt a little bit heavy, but this feels lighter. Pings in general, their irons, their clubs, their drives always felt a little bit heavy. I think making the shaft a little bit lighter is better. It sits lovely. It looks, the crown, this looks more like the 10K driver. So this is carbon here where they saved weight, and so that they can put the weight more within the club. Wow, first time. I've hit 1, 2, 3, 5 balls, and I'm up to nearly 270 yards. Spin rate is nice because my spin rate is low. Smash factor 150, so my efficiency is really good. Club head speed 96, carry nearly 130, 237 yards, total 268. Either I'm brilliant or this club is special, and I would go for the latter because I'm not brilliant. I feel in this, which sometimes I haven't felt in a Ping club, is the balance. The shaft is connected to the head. I feel like I can hammer the hell out of it if I want to. It's very connected. I love Ping. I love Ping as I've been to the Ping factory. It's a fabulous setup. The people there are amazing. Some people said to me, there's some reviews saying the G440 isn't as good, or it's not as good as the G430. I think that's bullshit. This is amazing. This is really good. And I know probably in 6 months or a year, they're gonna come out with the G440 10K or 11K maybe, or 12K or 54K, who knows? I'm kind of gobsmacked. This is bullet straight. It's easy. I've hit 5 shots. Normally it takes me 20 to get going. This is a bit of a revelation. I like it a lot. This is crazy. My goodness. I had a TaylorMade in my bag for the last while, and I've also reviewed the Wilson. And for me, the Wilson has been unbelievable. But this is very, very good. I'm blown away, in fact. What I really like about this, and I think for me, is because I have a tendency to hit like 1300 spin, 1600 spin. My spin rate is staying up. Ping have this kind of, they're loud, it's kind of this hard feedback. It's really soft. It's not, it doesn't actually feel like a Ping club. I don't know if I like this so much, but I'm not looking at that. But when I put the club down, it looks amazing. It's sleek. I like your turbulators. When you swing, you don't feel it's flipping away or it's too light. It just feels extremely, extremely balanced. I have to say that this is probably the best driver I've hit this year so far, if I'm honest, okay? It's a bold statement. It ain't cheap though, that's the problem. So these are €685. A lot of drivers now between 600 and 700 euro. For value for money, maybe it's still the Wilson. This is better than the G430. Probably better than the G430 10K. When the 10K version comes out of this, it could be mind blown, to be honest. I am very impressed. If you're gonna try a new driver, you gotta try this thing out. And as I said, a lot of people said to me, oh, I heard the G40 isn't as good as the G30. It bloody well is. Okay, folks, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.